Hi guys, and welcome back to Ades Workshop. And this is going to be part 10 of the knurling tool project, and I think we're finally at the closure to it now. We might have a part 11. Anyway, today we're going to be finishing off a few of the small details, and then once we've done that, we're going to get on with the assembly of the knurling tool. So we might actually get a little bit of knurling done today as a trial. And I do intend to make the little hand wheel that goes on the knurler with a knurl on the top using the knurler. So I've got a temporary measure with a couple of nuts on the bolt just to get us around that problem until we make the little hand wheel. So enjoy, guys. I've got the milling slide back up, and I don't know how easy this is going to be for you to see there. Basically bringing the vise towards me now. I've got the cutter in, I'm at a depth of a mil. And bring it towards me. I'm cutting across the bottom face till I get a reading of 2.25. Then I lower the milling slide down. By 2.3 mil. So theoretically the cutter is coming up that back face now. Here we are. Now back across the top face. Past the centre line. To 0.2.25 again. There. Then back up to my initial reading, back up to my zero, back up the other 2.3 mil. Winding the milling slide up. Here we are. Back across the other half of the bottom face. Back to my centre position, which is there. And I've taken a full cut around the perimeter, across, up, across, down, across to the middle. Now I can put another cut on and repeat until I get to a depth of 2.25 mil. I'll see if we can give you the overall shot of that procedure. I'm going tenths out at a time, or 0.25 mil at a time I should say. Oh dear. Lock the carriage, right, so towards me till I read 2.25. I don't know if I mentioned it's a 4 mil diameter cutter. .25. Whoa. I've got the clock on top here. I'm watching the clock as I travel down. I need to go to an 8th hour here. Okay. Back across. Up the top face. Past the zero, back to 2.25 the other way. Just being gentle with this. There we go. Back up. Once past the zero, and back round to zero. And then back across the other half of the bottom face to my centre point. There. So I'll just keep going round now, quarter mil at a time until I get to 2.25 deep. So I finished machining it. Obviously it wants deburring and what have you. So there's the pin that's going to go in there with the head, and you can see that the head fits into that pocket, just fits. I mean, it's got slight play, but you know, I didn't want to have it tight, so to speak. So there we are. So when I size those holes, obviously these pins are going to be hardened and polished yet. then that will stop the pin revolving. So I think we'll have a little tapped hole somewhere around here, and we'll have a little keep plate, maybe a bit of stainless steel, something like that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I need to knock up a couple of brass washers. I managed to find a bit of half-inch brass as well, which I didn't think I had any offcuts left, but I had a little bit left. So I'm looking for a diameter of around 12mm, something like that. So we'll have a quick look at that. Where are we? 12.5. Okay, and say it's not critical. So 0.25 aside, we'll do a 0.2 and then a 0.5 after. This should be the finishing cut. Okay. Right, I want a hole up the middle, 4mm. Let me just check that centre drill I've got isn't more than 4mm. 3.2, that's alright. So I'm going to centre drill it. Get that in the shot there, I think it should be alright. Bear with me 2 seconds, shaking the camera. Yes, you can see what I'm doing there. We'll just pop a centre drill in there. There we go. We'll have that out. There's a small drill chuck in. And I want a 4.1 I think. 4.1 drill, and if I go in about 10 or 12 mil, it should be alright here. I'll wait a bit more for luck. Okay, so we'll have that out of the way. So a little chamfer on the end of there before I part it off. Something like that. Just thrown up a little burr on the inside. I'll just deburr that. That's better. So the purpose of these will become clear very shortly. So I want 2 of them. A parting tool. Oh, I've got and buried it. Okay, and the handle. So again, I'll square the parting tool up my eye. Oh, line up the leading edge of the parting tool. Two and a half mil. Lock carriage. And I'm going to part it off, and I'm going to stop once I put a bit of a groove in. Just get my little needle file. Just break the edge on the underside. Okay. That was a chattery little bugger, wasn't it? Unusual. Go on, get in there. Can I? Oh wait. Never mind. Right, so I really should get the parting tool sorted out that goes in the other tool post. Saves me messing about like this, swapping tool posts like I just change tools. Anyway, full of shouldas. Should have done this, should have done that. Some gain. The burr. Shamp or something like the other one. How big did I do the other one? Oh yeah. Okay. Back to the parting tool. It doesn't take long really. Just to swap them over. Get somewhere near. There we go. 2.5 again. Whoop. That's it. Lock carriage. See if this goes any better. Go straight at it. Yeah, I was pussyfooting around with it. That's why it was chattering. And obviously I'm not stuck out quite as far now. Well, not that much different. I'm being careful not to push this drill bit in too far. That'll stone off. Okay. So, other than removing the little burr, two little 12mm washers, 4.1 hole in them with a chamfer on the top, and I broke the edge on the underside. So, the little washers. So I've got an M4 screw, the correct length, and I've drilled and tapped an M4 hole just offset from the little pocket that the pins are going to go into, when they're obviously the other way round. And the idea being that we screw them in and it retains the pin for the knurling wheel. So there we are, that was the purpose of the little washers. So we're starting to get somewhere now. We've got quite a collection of parts going on as we're moving along. I need to cut some dowel pins to length for the block. I'm going to put once the pins are fitted in final fit, they're going to be just tapped either side with a ball bearing just to close the ends of the hole up to stop them coming out, but they can always be you know, driven out quite easily past the little swelling that I'm going to put either side of the pin. So the main body's been polished up and it's having its dunk in the magic black fluid. It's only been in there about a minute or so, but you can see it's pretty black already. I thoroughly degreased it, cleaned it. It was all polished up. I cleaned it and dunk it in the tank. So I'm going to leave that there probably for about 5 minutes. And then it's coming out of there and in some clean water. Then I'll dry it off and then it's going in some oil. So I polished up the two fingers and they're now in the tank. They've been degreased and they're in the tank getting their treatment. Now I keep getting asked every time I do this blacking or bluing, cold bluing. The stuff I use is this black oxide solution. Okay, it's made in the UK and the company I get it from, if you go on the internet and look up Caswell, I think it's Caswell Europe, you'll find their website and it's black oxide solution. Well, there we have it, a kit. Now you'll notice that I haven't got a hand wheel for the end of the 6mm shaft, purely because I want to use the knurler to put a knurl on the hand wheel that's going to be on the knurler. So just in the short term, I'm probably just going to put a pair of nuts locked together on there, and then I can do it up with the spanner just for the first go until I make the hand wheel. So I've got all my bits and pieces here, all assembled in one area. I've got the Allen key. I'm going to need a couple of little tools and a hammer. I've got some Loctite and I've got some assembly oil. So no time like the present, let's get on with it. So I think we'll assemble the knurling wheels into the fingers as a first job. So I think we'll have just a spot of oil in these when we put it together. And again, on the pins. So, on these wheels there's a groove on one side, and obviously they're diamond knurls. But if I put both of the grooves facing, let me just get that pin in there. And as you can see, it's 3/4 of the way into the slot. I got a little bit of copper. And there we are, that's that done. So again, now I don't want to Loctite these in because I do want to be able to remove them and replace them to change the wheels over. And I'm actually putting the medium wheels in at this stage because it's the medium ones that I'm going to want, or the medium knurl that I'm going to want on the hand wheel. So here we are, that's the first one done, and the wheel does turn nicely. Okay, so I'll do exactly the same on the second one now. Okay, so they've both got their wheels in them and they both rotate freely. Happy days. I think the next thing I'll do is assemble the fingers into the main body. So doesn't really matter which one's which. We'll just again have a little bit of oil. Yep. Just hold that pin back a little so that, yeah, that is the top one. Oh. Right, I want to just tap that just slightly below the surface here. I've got a little bit of brass that I'm just using to tap it with. I've gone a little bit far, back the other way, a tiny bit. As I say, it wants to be about 1/2 mil below surface. There we are. So that's that one done. And then we'll do the top one. I've got enough oil around the place here on my fingers to do this. Well, that one was a bit easier going. Right, we're getting there now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tap those dowels down just a touch. Now these can sit in here pretty permanently. And I'm going to get a ball bearing, and I'm just going to stake the outer edge of that hole over very slightly, and I've only got a tiny chamfer on there, so I'm just going to stake them over, then turn it over the other way, push the pins back against to where I've staked it, and just stake the other side. They can be driven out at any time, but at least I know that they're not going to work their way out during use. So we'll get on. Okay, I couldn't find a ball bearing of an appropriate size, either way too big or too small for the hole, so I'm just going to pin on either side of the hole a very small centre pop, and that will be enough to just swage the edge of the hole over. Yep, I can see it going. That'll just swage the hole over enough. Yep, they're down. To stop these pins coming out during use. And of course, at any time, I can drift it back out again. Okay, so there we are, all working well. So my next stage, I suppose, well, again, I can just put that, a little bit of oil around there. That's the barrel nut in. I could go through there. Again, got a bit of oil on my fingers. Just get that started. this pin's way too long for the start off, but it'll do for what I want to be able to knurl the knob and be able to come to a final decision on the length. Okay, way too long, but anyway. Okay, that's that in there. Now I'm going to have to find myself a spring to go between those two, which I haven't got at the moment. So, don't touch the thread, I know that's clean. I'm just going to put the tiniest amount of Loctite on the thread. That'll do me. I have squirted the degreasant down the hole, the brake and clutch cleaner down the hole at an earlier stage. I'll just work that in there. I think 14mm we put the flats on there, didn't we? Something like that. Whoop, bear with me 2 seconds. Just come out of shot. Okay. Not quite as square as I would have liked. I might end up taking a bit of skim off that shoulder to straighten that up. Okay, and I've also put a little tapped hole in the back, just to take the spare wheels, little M6 tapped hole, just to take the spare knurling wheels so that they're kept with the unit. So other than making the knob now to go on the bottom, and I still might have to do a bit of fiddling with these arms, but I think we're okay. I think we've got something that's usable to make the knurled handle. I got a piece of EN8 up here in the chuck, centre drilled the end and placed it. I just had to skim the other side to make it fit into the chuck, but so I'm going to give this a skim over. It's an inch EN8. I'm just going to skim it to clean up, and then we'll try the knurling tool on it. I only want a small area of knurl, but I'll do a bit of a patch, see how we get on. I just want to clean up this bar. Not far away. I'll take a finishing cut over this after. I've dropped the tool back in the tool holder. It's not stuck out as far as it normally does. Take the vibration out of it because I'm doing a piece of steel. Put a bit of magic fluid on there. And just skim it over. Got tips on its last legs, but whoop, it's done the job for what I wanted. Here we are. Oh, we don't want that in the way. Well, it's not too bad a finish actually. So we're not messing about here. Its first trial is with a EN8, which is quite tough stuff. I've just put the second cut on. I have got a slight design flaw in that inch diameter is about as large as it can do, but it's not that it can't open up, it's the clearance on the angles, on the sort of jaws of it, as it were. I'm just using a bit of metal working lubricant. But yeah, I'm just running a knurl across the surface, let it run and feed that way, knock it out, bring it back across, I'll stop it and have a look at it after this cut. Yeah, I could do with being in a bit more towards the centre. I don't know whether you can see, but I'm just before the centre. and that's because of that clearance issue I have on the jaws. But no problem, I can put a larger angle on there. That's certainly something that can be done. Ooh, there's not a lot of torque in the lathe. That's why I'm running as fast as I am. I'd rather be running a lot slower than this. So I'm going to run this cut across and we'll have another look. Well, I've just given it the quickest of clean outs, you know, with a wire brush. Yeah, well, certainly a lot better than I could have got with the old knurling tool. Aluminium or brass, it would be, you know, or softer material, even mild steel, it would probably go on quite well. It was working quite hard with this being EN8, which is, you know, fairly tough old stuff. But I've got, you know, a proper diamond knurling there. Happy with that. I only want an area, you know, sort of 6mm wide for my little hand wheel. But yeah, I mean, that, as it stands at the moment, as I've made it, that is about as large a knurl as I could do. It's an inch diameter. I am sort of thinking, well, you know, what do you expect? It's a mini lathe, but I'd like to have a larger capability. I mean, I may want to do sort of 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, maybe, diameter on aluminium, on brass, you know, that sort of thing. But I think as far as its power for this small lathe, I mean, I had to run at about 300 RPM on that material just to be able to have the torque to be able to drive it. You know, with the amount of load that was on it, if I tried to go less than about 300 RPM, it was trying to stall the lathe out, which obviously that won't do anything any good. So I was running probably twice the speed I wanted to be doing. I was going very, very easy on the end feed. Yeah, 2 or 3 passes. I tightened it up 2 or 3 times. I did get a bit of an intermittent, you know, I was getting one knurl correct and the other one like double hitting. But as I tightened down, it all came back to form this nice diamond. So I think as far as how it works, I'd probably go 70% success. It's far better than the previous version that I was using for this little lathe. You know, it didn't take half the loads, I suppose. But I would like to have the capability of going a bit bigger, so I might do, going forward, a little bit of modification of the ends of the jaws just to give the extra clearance that I need for the larger sizes. It's not a problem with the swivel bolt, it's the angles that I've got on the jaws. If I go much bigger in diameter than this, they're going to start fouling, the part will be fouling the angles before the wheels contact. So yeah, I'm going to skim this down now and make a little hand wheel out of it.